Listen, I appreciate every single one of you watching LME this year because it's been a wild one. We were able to watch 415 new movies that came out this year in hopes of scoping out the best ones out there, finding a way to enjoy the ones that may have not been the greatest. But if I'm able to just get into my pretentious bag for a little bit, even scoping out the movies that helped transport us into new worlds and viewpoints. Obviously, everything on this channel has been our opinion, something that I don't know how some people miss, but we've always loved talking about movies over just giving them a number. Some of y'all even know that our rating system is more looser than what the Golden Globes would consider a comedy, but to us, movies vary on how you're feeling. Most of y'all know what my number one is, but that doesn't mean that sometimes I'm not going to choose Paddington shenanigans over it, right? Sometimes I just want to remember the definition of what a man is with Chicken Nugget Kid. Sometimes I just want to swing into the Spider-Verse, revive some controversy with Olive Dog. So, like we've done before on the A to Z show, we like dividing our list by genres to cover the best of the year. Because honestly, we have a whole Letterboxd that you can check out that kind of ranks all 415 movies that we saw, but again, all the numbers shift for us. The numbers don't really matter for us. Anything that's in the top 50, I'd say that's fair game. I'm just making this video to highlight the movies that I know we won't forget from this year. Let me explain. Now, action movies, and blockbusters for that matter, usually get looked down on from the intellectual crowd as not being posh enough to make top lists. Nah, movies like Infinity War, to me, are incredible achievements. Those things are milestones, how they're able to weave 10 years of movies from different creators, different worlds into this major climax. Like, forget if you don't like seeing heroes in spandex. The filmmaking itself is peak cinema. For those who appreciate choreography and have seen the light with the 2 Raid movies, I would also put Netflix's The Night Comes for Us as being one of the best action movies of the year. It's extremely brutal, it's gritty. Honestly, it would have been number 1 if it wasn't for this one. The one that takes the cake as the best action movie really is in my top 5, so I'll mention that again later, but it's the one that I went back to the theater to watch 3 times in IMAX. Dramas.
If you own a modern high-definition television, there's a good chance you're not watching movies the way the filmmakers intended, and the ability to do so is not simple for you to access. Meanwhile, a quick internet search should provide you with step-by-step instructions on how to quickly disable the feature so that you can enjoy the movie you're about to see exactly as the filmmakers intended.
Yo, what indie film came out and told you to change your TV settings? This is art house cinema. Correct. Bull. Now, like I said, I'm more concerned about how movies emotionally affect people, what really resonated with them, and not what the consensus is on what's supposed to be the greatest movie ever made. I think that the one movie that would probably cross both, being the emotion and like the actual craft of filmmaking, is Roma. If there's one that I think deserves Best Picture, it's Roma. If there's one that I think objectively, is the best well-made movie of the year, it's my Theo's movie, and I really appreciated that one. But yo, there are other foreign films that came in strong. I do feel weird putting foreign films into a category because, imagine other countries calling American films foreign, and then that only limits all of the movies we made throughout the year down to 5. It'd be weird, but for the time being, I'll use the label to promote them in hopes that more people give them a chance and aren't afraid of subtitles. Like, people are afraid of cartoons for some reason. You buffoons. There's Museo, which actually got picked up as a YouTube Premium movie, and I got this one at TIFF. And it stuck with me for about a day afterwards, and I was randomly sitting at another screening when I realized what the final line actually meant, and it made me rethink the entirety of what I had just seen. For those who liked heist movies like American Animals this year, I think you'll absolutely love this one. Another beautifully executed bottle film is The Guilty, which takes place all in one room, where a dispatcher is trying to figure out what's going on with the other person on the other end of the phone. And I know that this is already getting remade into an English, American-made film, but that should tell you that you need to catch the original because that's how good it is. But especially, out of all these picks, watch my top 1 before it gets remade. This is the best foreign language film I saw this year. This is the best example on how manipulative movie storytelling can be and how a master crafts that. And your movie is great when the happy scenes in the movie are the ones that make you want to cry the most. I highly recommend it. I'll even recommend the director's previous film, which I think is even better than this one. And believe me, these will get their own videos. Look at me sneaking another foreign film in here. Borders was my favorite WTF movie of the year. It's the perfect balance of a drama, mystery that turns completely insane when you start questioning what these beings are and what they're up to. Cam was another one that really resonated with me in terms of a creator dealing with algorithms. I think anybody, you don't have to be a cam girl to watch this movie and see how it deals with the trending conundrum and how it deals with you trying to keep up with your own kind of goals that you've set up. And this is on Netflix, and I definitely think it's worth the watch. The Endless is also on Netflix, and I believe this is the best indie budgeted film of 2018 that deals with time loops and self cycles and stars the directors as the lead roles in the movie. Cully isn't really a horror film, but I don't know of any other movie that actually scared me to death of motherhood, and it stuck with me, and it even got LME's mama's approval, so I highly recommend that one as well. But out of all of these, there's one that had me so confused, one that had me so dazed, one that had some of the scariest scenes of the year, yet it left me so fascinated. Now, contrary to some beliefs, you are not an anti-intellectual if you don't like this movie. For me, I like the way that the storyline of the aliens coincided with the metaphor of grief and self-annihilation. I saw it as a perfect Rorschach test, right? Of a movie that can actually put your own insecurities up on screen and you kind of relate it to one of the characters. You see these characters enter a literal reflection that they have to go down, pretty much an internal journey. You see by the end of the movie that they're facing themselves and what destroys them, and honestly, it's beautiful. And on top of that, it has one of the best scores. Documentaries are no longer boring. And you know what? They've never been. But I'm glad that 2018 has really made them more mainstream. There was Three Identical Strangers that still has me wondering who else is out there that may be another me. Crime and Punishment on Amazon, I think, takes these great movies from this year and is just a documentary version of them, which actually kind of heightens what the story is about. Abducted in Plain Sight, Abducted in Plain Sight is so sick. It's so repulsive. It's literally one of the few movies that has made me so nauseous while watching it that I threw up. A movie, 24 frames projected onto the screen, literally made me sick. But the complete opposite of all that craziness is the one documentary that spoke to me the most and reminded us how special we all are.
Please won't you be my neighbor?
I have a whole video on this, so I'll just point out one thing other than my personal connection with Mr. Rogers growing up. But there's a part in this movie where it stops becoming about the man and all he did for kids programming and the culture of it. But they stop to tell you to think about the most important person in your life. And I just hope everyone had someone in mind. So here's more of a quick rapid fire before I get to my literal top 5 on some of the best dramas of this year that I think are worth a watch. Vice. It's a mobster movie that I feel bamboozled its own target audience because of how well they covered Dick Cheney, and it has some of my favorite editing of the year, post-credit scenes of the year, hell, fake ending of the year. Monsters and Men had an even better Washington performance than BlacKkKlansman in my opinion. The dinner scene is one of the most intense of the year, but the argument in the third act between the father and the son poses one of the most impacting questions in a movie that came out this year in my opinion. We the Animals is just special. I don't have a way to describe it other than it feels like it was taken out of a child's imagination of what trauma and confusion looks like, and it got put on screen, and it's beautiful. Have y'all seen Widows though? It's the best ensemble of the year and has the best one take of the year. Mid-90s, the best soundtrack of the year, and is literally Buttery Ass Mondays the movie. And finally, If Beale Street Could Talk, which is officially in my top 3 romance films of all time because their love in this movie wasn't a plot point or an obstacle. It's everything they were. It was them. And I think all of these deserve to be watched at least once. While these next ones, I've seen these next ones at least 5 times minimum. Now, technically, MI6 would be the 5th one since I've seen that so many times, but The Miseducation of Cameron Post. I wish more people knew about this movie because, I'm always talking about Sundance, and I don't think Sundance movies are the best just because I love the film festival. I love the film festival because it has the best movies. You know how critics always say things like, the authenticity of the characters was palpable, a riveting tale of diversity, the best of it. Well, I really think that this movie is all of that and more. It has one of the best scenes of the year that not only had me at the edge of my seat, but it was mainly because I wasn't sure what was going to happen next with this character, and things get even more tense after that scene. It has one of the best ensembles in my opinion, and one of the few movies that I actually want a sequel for, because the moment this movie ended, I really wanted to know where the characters were going to go next. Oh yeah! Alright! The rap scene in this movie is top 5 scenes of the year for reasons beyond the execution of it. I think this is the most creative movie of the year that'll be relevant for years to come, even if it's just for how entertaining it is, but it easily has one of my favorite lines of the year as well.
Hey, 40 on 2.
So here are my top 2, and I laugh because people got mad when I overhyped this specific movie back at Sundance, and they said, bro, you gotta chill, it's not gonna be, and now that it's in my top 5, people scoff saying, no duh, that's an obvious choice. Yeah, people. Hereditary floored me the first time I saw it. I came out and was hyping this up since day one, and to this day, I still love it. Some see it as a slow burn. I see this scene as being the most haunting of the year. Some see the double depictions of mental illness as being shallow. I think Tawny is the best actress of the year. Some think there's nothing scary to it. I'm just gonna leave you with this little theory. Charlie's clucks is Paimon's camel, showing you how he's getting closer and closer and closer. This is the movie I've recommended the most. The story I found most riveting. The most rewatchable movie of the year because of all of its Easter eggs, but the one that gives you 2 movies in one since it's hiding a secret one in the background. Searching. It pushes the boundaries of storytelling while still honing in on the emotion. It uses every single frame and background moment. It's diverse in the purest form. It's a movie with so much passion from the filmmakers that it not only makes it one of my favorite movies of the decade, but one that I'll still be talking about a decade from now. So now, I just want to say thank you for this last bit. 2018 was an incredible year for LME, not just with the milestones that we hit, but we were able to go on an entire road trip in the East Coast where we were able to meet some of you, We got the chance to cover more film festivals and have the ability to make 2019 even bigger by bringing friends on board to help create more stuff for the channel and everything else that we have, Some of y'all may have watched us since the A to Z show, and I promise that's coming back. Some of y'all know about the podcast, Intercut. Some of y'all know about the music version of LME, Hear Me Out. All of those channels we're hoping to make even bigger, but starting 2019, we have an entire road trip on the West Coast that's going to lead to Sundance that we're excited for. We're expanding the stuff we're going to cover on LME, and the beauty of it is that it's still just us recording in the corner of our rooms and hotel rooms, as unfiltered as possible. We know some people don't like us. Trust us, we read the DMs the first time you guys send them, but we love talking about movies and having fun with them, And that's really all we care about. And the people who follow us, they get that. But it's still specific messages that we get from people who are having hard days. We get messages from people who are going through rough patches, people who have lost loved ones, who are deployed, even personal stuff. When they message us and they let us know that LME videos are the thing at the end of the day that get their minds off things. And that's when this, just for a little bit, becomes more than just uploading, regular YouTube videos for us. That's when it becomes special. So as the channel grows, know that our main focus has always been to appreciate movies. Our channel is all about appreciating movies and to entertain all of you guys. So for our hipster fans out there, know that we're still the same movie-loving cartoons no matter how big the number gets, and that won't change. So we just hope that you don't either. Thank you.